Hello, and welcome to another special Franchise Hockey Manager 4 stream. My name is Adam. I'm the community manager. With me, as always, and pictured on your screen is FHM Producer Jeff. Say hi, Jeff.
Hey, everybody.
And we are back with the 1980 Leafs for some odd reason. What's going on, Jeff? It's been a while.
Well, we're doing a lot better than the actual Leafs are doing. That's pretty much it. Our big news was we just finished
signed John Tavares?
Yeah, we just signed just finished the preseason, and we get the season preview email that's calling us one of the Cup favorites. When the real Leafs this was pretty much the season where it really fell apart for them, and they were, I think they either missed the playoffs or came close to it, and it was pretty much downhill from here for them in the 80s. But we have avoided that. We've didn't go on the crazy trading spree they did, although we're starting to see some of the guys are slipping a little prematurely, and Turnbull has really gone downhill. He's been a pretty good offensive defenseman for us for the last couple of seasons, but he's dropped down to 1.5 stars. Still got a fairly high offensive number, you can see, so still probably our second best power play guy behind Salming. Forward-wise, we're looking pretty good. A couple of the guys we picked up in the draft, Steve Larmer, I think that was our first rounder, should be ready to play this year, looks like. He didn't start, I think his NHL rookie season was 82, 83. Might have played one game in 81, 82, so he's about a year or two ahead of schedule here. Radcast in the chat, hey, and Gudu, saying the 79-80 were the best jerseys for the Leafs. Yeah, with the one like the solid stripe down the arm. Those did look pretty good.
The St. Pat's jerseys are still the best.
The what? Oh, the St. Pat's.
St. Pat's.
And you can see a few of the other guys we picked up here. Michel Goulet, we got him in the draft. We got him as a free agent, signed out of the WHA the year before, after he didn't go to another WHA team after Birmingham folded. And same deal with Keith Crowder, although we got him mid-season. Joe Mullen, we signed out of college. So on the right side, we're actually a little bit crowded here. We've got, and Crowder showed up for camp out of shape. He'll work that off eventually. But we've got 4 3-star right wingers, and considering, or 3-star better, and considering 3 stars in historical is pretty significant. I think we may want to move one of these guys to the left side. Get maybe Crowder or Larmer playing left. Although, wasn't Mullen a natural lefty? No, right. I got that right?
Yeah,
Thought he shot off. Yeah, I thought he played the off wing. Huh. Been a while. Defensively, we're lagging a little bit behind, but there's basically a solid core there. It's a little worrying about the Turnbull. He's slipped that far. Maybe we should start looking for another offensive defenseman at some point this season. Goalie Palmatier is still doing okay. He doesn't have the injury problems that he ran into in real life. So he's still 2.5 stars. Good, but not great. And Michel Dion, probably going to use him as the backup this year. Just looking at what we're up against, so far in the game, it's pretty much followed history. We've had Montreal win the first cup in '79, and then the previous spring, the Islanders got their first cup. So same cup winners in the first 2 years of this game. 2 years of this game is in real life, and that's who we've got to deal with now. The Islanders are the scary one, although they did do something surprising in the off season and traded Billy Smith to Colorado. Although they did get Dino Ciccarelli from him back. Ciccarelli had been picked by Colorado in the draft the year before and had a pretty good rookie year.
They have a couple of deep goalies, do they?
Yeah, they've got Goran Hagosta, who was their, I think, 4th stringer in real life at this time, Swedish goalie that never really played much in the NHL. But they've got Pelle Lindberg, who's only 21 at this point. I think he was still playing in Sweden, or I think this might have been his first year in North America. In real life, he had a pretty good year in Sweden. But they're probably going to be using him as a number 1 by the end of the season, which is a bit of a gamble from the Islanders, but they've got to look at all that firepower up front. Gillies, Pedersen,
Lindbergh
Tonelli.
started playing in 1980 with Maine.
Yeah, 80, 81?
AHL.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so this was his actual first North American year. So he came over a year earlier in this one, but they've got just a ridiculous amount of scoring. They picked up Mark Napier from Montreal, who's gone down. That's how he's on his 1.5 stars. Is he not developed yet? That's right, because he was so young when he came in. He's a weird one to model. Laurie Boschman, who was a Leaf in real life, they got him in the draft. So insane forward depth, and the other team you've got to deal with Montreal, who had slipped a little farther than this in real life, but they've added a lot of they've actually changed quite a few players up front. Picked up Wayne Merrick, Jim Poplinski, and Doug Risebrough would be on the Flames together circa about 87 or so. And one kind of scary thing, Guy Lafleur is probably going to head downhill at some point, but they picked up Tim Kerr to replace him. And Kerr actually had 6 goals in 9 games in a short call-up last year. So now they've got score off, well, some of the forwards have fed downhill a little earlier than I'd expect, Wu and Lambert. So they're not quite as... Go ahead.
They picked him up in a trade, did they not? Was that...
Who?
Kerr, wasn't it? You were just talking about?
Tim Kerr, yeah. I don't think that was a trade. I think they... Nope, drafted 17th overall in the 79 draft. So he would have gone to Philadelphia in the real draft, but in this one. But the big thing Montreal has done is Ken Dryden hasn't retired yet, but they traded him away to L.A., and went through most of the last season with Rob Holland, a rookie in goal, who put up some pretty good good goals against average, terrible save percentage. But he's really only 1.5 stars. He's pretty terrible. So midway through the year, they picked up John Garrett from Hartford, and he's done pretty well. And you can see he's 3 stars, quite a bit better. So they've kind of addressed the goaltending problem they ran into briefly in the real 80s. So they are still solid contenders. The other ones we've got to worry about, Buffalo is in pretty good shape. Philadelphia, the Oilers actually look quite a bit different from what they did. They haven't got the Kevin Lowe's who we've got, Paul Coffey, Ari Curry. They did get Messier and Gretzky together, which is something that doesn't happen that often in historical games. Usually it works out that one of the two will wind up going somewhere else. We just traded them Walt McKechnie, who's headed downhill after a couple of good years for us. I mean, they've got good names here, but the ratings haven't really filled out for a lot of these guys yet. So it's going to be interesting to see how they develop. And Eddie Mio and Ed Stanowski would be a Jet in the real NHL in goal. And I guess you want to take a quick look at the Jets?
Of course.
Jerry Cheever's still hanging on, age 39, hasn't quit. He was actually coaching Boston this season, I think. It was this season.
Asked in the chat, is Don Cherry coaching the Rockies?
I think he would have been fired at this point. Didn't they fire him after 79-80? So he would he'd be
my
in
gut says they did.
Yeah, I think he'd be doing TV by now, or just about to. But pretty much, I mean, this is the Jets team that in the real 1980-81 season went, 32 games without a win?
Yeah.
Start of October, and then they finally won a game. They won their 3rd game of the season and didn't win again until a couple of days before Christmas. And I just remember that because I went to the game after the one they broke the streak in.
His last year was the Colorado Rockies in 79-80, so yes.
Yep, he would have been gone by that point.
Until 2001. And Brian Ladle says, "Hey, how you guys doing?"
I'm doing good, Brian. Good. Okay, I think I should let me just remind myself what options I've got turned on here. Everything. Okay, the scouting, letting assistant handle that because there's not quite as much for them to do in a historical game. I need to take a look at training. Oh, I need to trim down the roster first. Starting goalie, Barron has actually got a little bit hot. But I think I'm still going to send him to New Brunswick because Dion is a little older. And we can hopefully get a little more development out of Barron. 8 defensemen. I can send one of these guys down. Probably one of the 1.5-star guys. Definitely don't want it to be Turnbull. I think, yeah, Johansson we barely used last year. So he can go down and see if he can kind of get his career headed in the right direction again. And 4, 5, 9, 14 forwards. Going to cut that down by 1. But the question is, who's it going to be? Thomas Steen. Dan Maloney, Randy Cunneyworth. I think I'm going to send the youngest one of them, Cunneyworth, down. He's a waiver exempt too. So, do I want to move? Because we're only using 11 forwards at this point because of the roster, the game day lineups were 1 player fewer.
Ratcast says in the chat, it's so weird playing historical mode and seeing players on different teams in Franchise Hockey Manager.
Yep, it's fun just looking, stopping in the middle as a game comes up and looking at the opposing team's roster and seeing how far off it is. When we get up to December, I'm going to stop at that day of the game that I actually went to, and I think play that through and see how closely the rosters match to what I remember. Boy, do we want to leave Steen up or down? He's probably not going to play much if I put him up, but we don't have a bunch of centers to spare. Let's see if I leave it like this. What happens? What does the AI want to do for addressing players? See, the AI is going to sit him if you leave it to its own devices. I think I'm going to put Steen back in New Brunswick.
Hi, CS Hi through and 2. Thanks for coming out. And Bifton asking in chat, did you guys stream last week? Yes, we did. We streamed our Florida Panthers 2022-2023 season where Jeff cursed us to being injured every other game pretty much.
Yeah, we kind of ran into a scary injury streak, which is somehow entirely my fault. I'm not exactly sure why. But
who's the guy who says, it's we're not getting injured at all? Injury.
Okay, so I think I've cut this roster down as much as I want to go. Gonna flip the goalie training assignments again. Let's see, 10, 12, 10, 16. I can add a couple of... Oh, don't want Schmear. He's kind of washed up, so I don't want to waste any training points on him. Any bonus training. Smith, that makes sense.
I should also point out.
Yeah. Good.
This is the second year in the NHL in real time where they have had full. Anyone new coming to the league has to wear a helmet.
Yep, still a lot of guys not wearing helmets at this point. Everybody that was wearing them or wasn't wearing a helmet was grandfathered in, and they could hang on without the helmet until they, or at least keep playing until they retired without one. Or they could also wear the non-standard helmets, like you remember the Butch Goring helmet, basically made out of cardboard.
Yes. So here's the question, and we'll pose it to the chat first and see if anyone can do it without quickly Googling, because that's cheating. But who was the last player to not wear a helmet in the NHL?
Oh, I should know this.
Posing it to the chat first.
Yep,
Jeff,
I know. I know what I'm going to say, but it's I think it's wrong. Just fiddling with the training. I think I'm going to move all the training down to 10. Well, you're smearing everything. That's weird.
Also forgot to hear too was this is the first season of Calgary in the league.
Yeah, good point. I'll show them in a second. Oops. Moved from Atlanta in the off season.
We have Lafleur listed, or Wilson. CSI 312 says, I have no idea.
Oh, Lafleur, yeah, because he came back. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So, Jeff, what's your guess?
I was going to say Harold Stamps, but I think that's wrong.
Close.
Yeah.
The correct answer, the last helmetless player playing after the 1996-97 season was future head coach and GM Craig McTavish.
Yep. Yes, he came in. He was one of the rookies in the previous season, so that makes sense. He would have been one of the youngest guys in the league this year. I should actually see if he's in the game at this point. He's probably still on Boston. Okay, almost done with the training here. Oops. Okay, completely done with training. Everything's down to 10 now. Check McTavish. I know he is with the Bruins in this game. 28 points last season, pretty much where he was coming along in real life until the car accident thing. Calgary we were going to look at. So yeah, Calgary's in this. They're actually looking a lot more like the old Atlanta Flames. They didn't really do the big roster changeover that happened in Calgary, where they moved a lot of players out in the first year or two that were in Atlanta. Tom Lysiak had been traded to Chicago at this point in real life. Still got Chouinard. No Kent Nielsen, who is on the Jets, but they've got Jean Pronovo, who was in Washington. And see, there's Bobby Gould. I think he might have been on to Washington by this point too. So yeah, definitely it's looking like much less of a turnover from the Atlanta days. So we'll see how they do this season. It's a weak division anyhow. And the other interesting thing about this game, Bobby Orr is still hanging around at 32, although he only managed to play 11 games last year.
Yeah.
So he would have been retired by now, but that's
all right.
Okay. Come to think of it, I mean, we were looking for an offensive defenseman. That's one to think about maybe later in the season.
Here's another question for the chat, Jeff. Shh, for the chat. And again, chat, you can't look this up. That's not fair. The regular season had a huge milestone break with only the second time something ever happened this season.
Regular season,
something happened that has not happened very often, and it'll be very hard for it to happen again.
Trying to remember, but can't think of it. What is it?
Well, we're going to wait and see if the chat can come up with the answer. Here's a hint for you, Jeff, as we're kind of still ahead as the chat's working on it. The first person to do it helped the second person, or was there to congratulate them for matching the feat. And Gouda Creative says,
"Oh yeah, okay, I know what you're."
90s without a helmet. He did, yes.
I think I know what you're talking about now.
McTavish played his entire career without a helmet. There was several players, and then one name of the player escapes me, who actually, was a guy who put on a helmet when it was mandated and eventually took it off because he said he found players became more violent towards him when he had the helmet on.
I'm just taking a look at the tactics right now. I think we're okay with leaving the ones we've had. We've been doing reasonably well with them. And there's still suitability is 4 or 5, so no real need to change those yet. Globals are normal and everything. So what does the AI want to do? See, it's moved Bobby Smith up into the first line center role, and that's actually bumped Sittler down to the second line. I don't really like that.
All right. Radcast was in 1980-81, yes. Yeah. For the trivia question. The correct answer we're looking for is, and his name has popped up multiple times already.
Yeah.
Jeff, what is it? What's the correct answer?
Wait, sorry, what was the question? I'm trying to do two things at once here.
What feat was only done for the second time in the NHL during this season? And the guy who did it first was on hand to congratulate the second guy to do it.
Was it the Gretzky's 50 goals, or?
It was not Gretzky's first 50 goals. That's a good guess.
Oh, Bossy. 50 and 50.
50 goals.
Bossy had 50 and 50, and Maurice Richard was there to had to think back. It's been a while.
Yes, Mike Bossy became only the second man in NHL history to score 50 goals in 50 games. In his 50th game, he had 48 goals and scored the final two with less than 5 minutes remaining. Or around 5 minutes remaining. It's been a while since I've read up on it.
Okay, I'm going to start with mostly what the AI wants is okay after I got those couple of weird things fixed, but I know I'm going to give this about 10 games to see how it works. And if no, wow, the Canucks blow somebody out? Oh, 8-6 win. There's an 80s game for you.
Excellent.
And we've got the Rangers to start off with. I'm just going to be simming all of these until we get to an interesting one. It's funny, we started the backup and we come out of there with a 6-4 win. Michel Goulet has 4 assists.
In the game or in the season so far?
In both, because that was the home and that was the opener.
Oh, excellent.
And the Flyers the next night. Let's make sure. Yeah, we got Palmateer in goal for this one. And a 5-2 win. So, fairly tough teams to start out with, and we wind up with 2 solid wins. And the Red Wings. Now this one should be easier because the Wings are pretty awful at this point. But naturally we'll lose because I said that. Wow, 7-0 win. Maybe not. And Joe Mullen with 4 points. So I was worried about getting him playing time. Probably shouldn't have.
Tempting fate, huh?
CSI, is this new stream music you're hearing? Nope. Same old stream music that we've been using for, 3 years now? Should probably find some different stuff.
Oh, we will probably in a month or so.
Okay, and back against the Flyers. And a 5-1 win. Wow, we're cruising through some really good teams here. So what I was saying about checking the lines after 10 games, maybe won't need to do that. And small trade, Flames and Rangers. Doug Soutart goes to the Flames for Bobby Lalonde, the shortest guy in the NHL at the time. All of 5'5". And Buffalo finally breaks a win streak. Chico Resch goal, they beat us by 1. Still not too bad. I'm not at all unhappy with that start. Everybody looks like they're still in good shape, so no reason to shuffle the lines yet. We're sure playing Palmateer a lot. Another blowout win, 8-3 over Pittsburgh, who's got Andy Mogan goal.
I don't recognize this bit. CSI 312 says.
And a few scouting reports, nothing interesting coming up. I don't think we've got any big No, we haven't got anybody's draft. Let me double check that. We don't. No, we've only got our own draft picks this year, so unless we pick something up at the trading deadline. Looks like a minor injury, just a facial cut on Bobby Smith. Nothing to worry about. Gonna put the backup Dion in for this game. Need to check the goalie settings after this one. And we blow Calgary out 8-0. So I was actually thinking we were maybe being a bit overrated by that prediction at the start of the year, but so far 6-1 and lots of one-sided wins. I'm pretty happy with this strategy, and I want to look at the goalie starts. Just backup start frequency. Gonna give Dion a few more starts this year, just to keep Palmateer in shape, because I know he's slightly injury prone. And we're going to give him the Dion start against the Kings, and it's only a 4-4 tie, although it looks like we got the tying goal with the goalie out.
Doesn't matter how you do it.
Yep, 58 seconds left. Michel Goulet from Smith & McDonald. And we got the Canucks. And I'm just going to take a look at their roster out of curiosity. You can see Bernie Parent, who hasn't retired due to injury yet, still hanging on. Paul Reinhart, who would have been a Canuck many years later in real life, has gotten drafted by him here. And looks like they picked up Bernie Nichols as well, so I would have been pretty happy if the Canucks were actually in this kind of shape in 1980.
Jeff, Radcast is asking if you go back to show where that option is for them to play the backup goalie more.
And we beat the Canucks 5-1, and that's Radcast. It's here, strategy screen, goalie starts, and you want to bump the backup start frequency up or down, and you want to make sure to lock the settings and use the goalie start settings when you're doing that. And I'm still kind of going in and manually changing them once in a while too, but should get better defaults that way. Pat Hickey with an 8-game assist streak. He was actually a Leaf at this point. He'd been traded from Colorado. And Bobby Smith finally recovered from that cut, although he was still playing through it. Phil Esposito hits 1,250. That's kind of an odd milestone. Why do we care about that one? Have to change the numbers on that, I think. But this was the year actually Esposito would retire.
1,250 games is a lot of games.
Yeah, it's just an odd number to be concerned about. Like even 1,300 would be. And Dion in against the Oilers, and we get a 5-4 win. Doesn't look like Gretzky had any points. Is Gretzky on? He's playing. And that's 10 games in. Let's just take a look at the league leaders. And wow, look at that. Bobby Orr, second overall in points. So he seems to recover from his injuries the year before. But right up with it, Michel Goulet, Michel Goulet is leading the league. Salming is in there. Very nice. Gretzky's up there with 14 points in 9 games, so he'll probably be showing up in the top 10 list fairly soon. I think the Oilers are a game or two behind everybody. And yeah, we are way out in front. Montreal, the Islanders, the Islanders haven't even lost yet. So second overall behind them, and the playoff system in these years is the 1 through 16 system, so the divisions don't really matter at all. Okay, we got a development report. Oh, nice to see Palmateer is coming along a little bit.
Ratcast asks, how many more years in your current game do you think Orr will play? I think if we actually look at him, his legs are basically literally on fire.
Yeah, let me take a quick look. So Oh no, it's actually gone down to vulnerable. His arms are showing up worse. I'm surprised.
Oh, so am I.
I'm tempted to... Actually, I'm going to go in there and cheat and...
What, you can edit them down?
Oh, can you edit the individual numbers?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I have. No, I haven't got Commissioner Mode turned on. I can't. So much for that idea. That's why I wasn't able to get to it.
If you do have Commissioner Mode on, you can cheat. Not saying you should.
And wow, look at that. Billy Smith, 4 stars, 918 save percentage in Colorado, even though they're still pretty terrible. And we beat them 5-3 anyhow, but... It looks like Galea has a bit of a goal streak going. And a bunch of messages at the end of the month. How's the board liking us? They think we're doing great, not surprisingly, because we are.
Yeah, well, how could they be mad at us?
911. Is there anything I want to shuffle around a bit? Just taking a quick look at the player stats. Yeah, the top lines are just flying. Dave Poulin in his rookie year, getting a point a game. Norm Rochefort, who middle round pick we had, and we were kind of expecting to be a few years away, but he's got 7 points in his first 11 games. That's terrific.
Yeah.
Picking up the slack for Turnbull, who hasn't really done anything yet this year. And who we got? Maloney's not doing anything. Let's see. No, I don't really want to put Butler in. Burrows could think about putting Burrows in for Turnbull for a while. I'll give Turnbull to 20 games if he hasn't picked up by then. I'm just going to rush this through to sim through all of November unless something interesting happens. And still a few guys adjusting to the team. Nothing too urgent to worry about. Yeah, I'm gonna just shut down some of the interrupts. And we finally get our first serious injury of the season. Looks like Steve Larmer's down.
Oh no.
And is it serious? Quad strain, 2 to 3 weeks.
Trade him.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yep, trade him.
But it looks like Crowder is finally in good shape, so he can... If I can find him. He goes into Larmer's spot. And Larmer gets replaced by Jerry Butler, who's the only spare forward we have at the moment. Anything in the news? Some big games. And an Larmer injury, that's the only thing I think of note, so nothing to worry about there. I was going to go to the end of the month, that's right. And Larmer should be back right around the time I finish here. But now we go. Now Crowder, who we replaced Larmer with, is hurt. Day-to-day with eye irritation. Come on, suck it up.
Well, you see how these guys in MLB keep with
Put some Visine in.
hand, foot, and mouth disease.
Oh, wow. Thomas Steen suddenly developed in New Brunswick. 18 points in his first 13 games, and he's up to 2.5 stars somehow. So yeah, I think he's going up, and we're looking at redoing our lineup a bit. Crowder out, Steen in. Gonna swap, I think, Schmier and Burrows, veteran defenseman, temporarily. And yeah, that's making a little more sense than what the AA wanted to do with Sittler on the second line the first time, or third line. Yeah, Steen, that's a weird surge all of a sudden, right out of the blue. Oh. Got to give them. What was Steen's number in Winnipeg? I know it's retired, isn't it? Or they were going to retire it.
I want to say 25.
Not tell you. Well, that's why he wants it. Yeah. So, but Dan Maloney's got it. So he's getting 24 instead. And he doesn't really like that, but too bad. Larmer's almost back. And Denny Heron, who is one of the goalies in Montreal at this point, gets traded to Quebec for a second rounder by Chicago. Or was it the other way around? I know, it looks like they sent him down, so... Oh yeah, Quebec has Richard Brodeur in goal. They don't have the Stasnys yet, so they're pretty ugly. And Steve Shutt fell down the stairs and hurt himself.
That's unfortunate.
Playing in Hartford this year, was traded in that John Garrett deal. And just scouting reports on a few free agents, none of which are of any interest to us. Free agent pool is pretty dead, I think, at this point in the season. Yeah, nobody better than 1 star. Oh, we got Montreal now. So Paul Mathieu is going to make the start. But let's see how we do against one of the really good teams we're going to need to beat. And we kill them 9-4. 40 shots on John Garrett. He lets in 9 of them. 4-point night for Joe Mullen.
All right.
And yeah, that's pretty embarrassing for Montreal. Jim Poplinski had a pretty good game for them as a rookie. Where's... Oh, is Lafleur hurt? I don't see Lafleur. That may explain some of it, but still, we shouldn't be beating him that badly. Yep, Lafleur is out with... Come on, pop up. Oh, just a stinger. He's only out day to day. And it looks like Detroit fired the general manager. Detroit always seems to be terrible in the games we wind up playing. Even when we're playing as them.
That's just to get P-Wog.
Yeah. Sorry, P-Wog.
Although, to be honest, this is a terrible Detroit time.
Yeah, they were really bad here in real life, almost to the end of November. Let's see if we get some of the injured guys back now. And Keith Crowder is back, and Steve Larmer is almost back. Got where did my development report go? Another solid month of development for a lot of different guys. Some of the older ones heading downhill, although nobody I'm particularly surprised by, so that's alright, I guess. Well, Crowder is back. Larmer is not. Butler... Did I... Yeah, take Butler out, put Crowder in. I'm just going to take whatever the AI wants for this next game.
Well, looking at Detroit's lineup, they actually have a couple decent defensemen, but not a lot else.
Yeah. Oops, don't want to sim to the end of the month here.
I forgot they drafted Ray Borg.
Yeah, so they've got a bit of a future there.
And Reed Larson was on defense.
Yeah, good 60 pointers or so from him for most seasons.
Craig Ludwig and Jim Korn is their second line. That's not bad.
Ludwig's playing already. Didn't think he was in the league. No, he wasn't in the league at this point.
19.
A lot of this, you can see with the 80s. The thing is, look at all the point streaks going. I wonder if there's a way we can get it to adjust for error where it's not announcing so many point highlights. And Rochefort gets hurt. Larmer's back, and we lose the defenseman now. So 1 to 2 weeks, dizziness and nausea. Got hit in the head or something. Now I think I'm gonna have to sit Dan Maloney out to make room because we called up Steen, and he's doing too well to take out of the lineup. No, I don't want it like that. Wants to push Mullen down to the 4th line. See, it's going back to what it was doing at the start of the season. So I've got to adjust some of this manually.
Brian Label in the chat asks, any FHM5 updates / hints? And I think the answer is we're not ready to talk about anything.
Yeah, I'm getting closer to being able to start beta testing. I've been doing a lot this week, just some of the logistics work of it, getting a new schedules put together and so on, and some database stuff. And okay, power play is what I wanted to look at. Yeah, no, not Steen in there, Sittler. Okay, so Rochefort's going to be out for a while. Go for a week like this. Well, look, and been talking, haven't said anything about our record yet, but look at that, 23, 2, and 3. So I think it's safe to say that, yeah, we actually are a contender this year. And the only problem is the Islanders are 28, 2, and 3. Yeah, like I said, that's pretty much it. I mean, you're not, if you're on the forums at all, you're seeing that I'm not around there much right now, which is what I tend to always wind up doing every time this year. Too much work to do, not enough time to do it. So yeah, Montreal Islanders running away. We're actually ahead of Montreal. Buffalo still having a good year. Flyers, no real surprises. Canucks are above 500, hey. And the Jets are doing pretty much exactly what they did in the real NHL. So let's see if I'm going to go up to Christmas and we'll see if they have any 34-game losing streaks.
Gudu is making a threat on that we shouldn't release FHM5 until we win a Stanley Cup on stream.
No. So, he said Cup. He said he did not say Stanley Cup. And we won a Memorial Cup in the junior game we played, so it's already done, Gudu.
Gudu, specify what cup? Because I'm thinking you don't want to see the new game till 2025. At earliest.
Burroughs wrecks his cruciate ligament, but just in time for... Why isn't this letting me replace him with Rochefort? There we go. Time for Rochefort to go in. December 24th, 27, 2, and 4. See, what I want to do is go to the 26th. And we don't you normally watch other teams' games in the stream, but so I want the league schedule. In this case, I'm going to watch the Minnesota-Winnipeg game on December 26th because sitting in the crowd at this game is a 10-year-old me.
Excellent.
And let's see, what's the lineup look like? Yeah, this is pretty much different from what I remember. North Stars, a few of the guys there. Al McAdam. I think Brassard was in Vancouver by that point. Tom McCarthy, Brad Maxwell. Marook was in Washington. Pavlich was at the Rangers. Yeah, there's this kind of a radically different Minnesota team. And Jets. Jets actually look a little bit better in this. So, I'm going to play through that really quickly. And just, well, if we had a stadium view, I'd be up here somewhere. It's moving too fast to do that, but imagine me sitting up at the very top of the nosebleeds and not being able to see the near boards because of the crappy overhang in the old Winnipeg Arena. And I remember the Stars winning this game. It was a funny thing, Brad Palmer, who was a rookie that year, I think he scored, and I don't know if it was his first goal, but it was just funny to see him because he had played 4 years earlier, Junior A in Kelowna, so one of the first, if not the first junior games I ever saw he was in, and he was also in the first NHL game I ever saw, or at least live.
Brian Label asked, did you have a beard then too?
Not quite.
And
that's a much later thing.
Judy says, oh, come on now. I've been waiting long enough. We all want the Stanley Cup.
Maybe we got a shot at it this year, and halfway through the game, this actually looked like a much better game than the one I saw. The only thing that really sticks out from that game is listening to the guy like 2 rows behind me at the very last row of seats in the arena screaming at Marcus Matson, who was the Winnipeg goalie at the time, like it was somehow his fault that the team was losing.
Yeah, well, of course. Got to blame somebody.
Yes, I don't think you can pin a 34-game losing streak on a goalie. And looks like they're doing pretty much exactly what happened in the real game. 5-2, I think it was a 5-3 final. In the game I actually saw, nope, they're going to keep scoring, 6-2. So Stars cruising to an easy win. It's not that surprising because Minnesota went to the Stanley Cup final this year. It was a bit of an upset that they got there, but they were a good team. Milosh.
Question. Does the game difficulty change for the playoffs, or is it exactly the same as the regular season setting?
In terms of how far difficult it is for the human player to win, yeah, no, there's no difference. The big game rating will come into play more in the playoffs, so the individual players may perform slightly better or worse. And yeah, attendance 12,709. So 3 of those 12,709 are me, my dad, and my Uncle Al. And how are we doing on time? I got a few minutes left. Get into the new year at least. I mean, I really don't want to change. Oh, that's not good. Salming cert. Please be minor, please be minor. Mild shoulder strain, 2 weeks. Okay, I can live with that. Okay, so let's swap him with Turnbull, because we're going to need some offensive output, and I'm going to have to call up another defenseman to... Lane Vigneault's still stuck at 1.5 stars. So Johansson's been doing pretty well in New Brunswick, although so is Farish. I think I want Johansson. No, he's a little younger. Okay, we may start to slip a little bit here with our best defenseman gone for a while.
Excuses, excuses.
Oops. And no, you can't have number 4.
Why not?
Because that belongs to low.
But what?
See if we can finally get this to the end of the year. There we go. Another good development report. Very little headed downhill. Nice to see. Yeah, I think I'll just go a week at a time for the rest of this. The Hawks, the New Brunswick Hawks logo. Does it? Oh yeah, there we go. That's nice. I guess that's a clever design. It makes it kind of look like the Hawk has glasses.
Well, where did you get that logo from, Jeff?
Well, you got that logo actually. Adam may or may not have been working on some minor league logos, and we are using one of them for this.
May or may not still be working on minor league.
Okay, see, this is a problem with having a team in Southern California. You got Glenn Gould up in January. If it was a Canadian team, he'd have no business being up on top of his roof. But he's in LA, and he went out on his roof and fell off. Although he only had 2 points in 36 games to begin with, so I don't think that's going to hurt the Kings too badly. And I'm going to play this one because it is the Islanders. And wow, actually both of our goalies are fairly hot. But I want a Palmateer in for this. If we can beat these guys, or at least play them reasonably close, no, 5-0 loss. That's disappointing because that's who we've got to get by in the final. I think that's going to need a lot. If we do get to the final this year against them, that's going to need a lot of micromanagement to even add a shot at getting past them, because I think we can reliably beat just about anybody in the league aside from the Islanders. Crowder out briefly. Going to replace him with Butler. No big deal. Salming and Burrows still out. And we just keep winning, 34-8. $68 points on top of the division. The Islanders are completely crazy, 42-3. You can see what the competitive balance was like in the league at this point. And the Jets, big 15 points in 42 games, in last place by a huge margin. So pretty much true to form there.
Do what you can.
And Salmon and Crowder almost back from injuries. Play one more week and that should get them healthy again. But Lanny McDonald gets hurt as soon as that happens. It's only for a couple of weeks though. So instead of putting Crowder back in his regular spot, I'm going to drop Crowder into McDonald's spot. Salming. No. I had Turnbull in Salming's spot. So Salming goes in for Turnbull. Turnbull goes in for Johansson. Yeah, there we go. Oops. Hate it when I accidentally move the window and game gets out of alignment. He's only day-to-day, so... Actually, if I run this to the end of the month, I think we'll probably get him back. Not going to rush him back because it's kind of pointless with this huge lead we're building up here. The only question is, do we, and I'll probably save this for the next one, but we're probably going to have to make a trade at some point if we want to get past the Islanders.
What do you think we need a trade for?
Offensive defenseman.
So you just want to go get Bobby Orr, huh?
It's tempting. Oh, McDonald. Jeez, McDonald is almost back. And Crowder gets hurt again. Sore Achilles tendon. So McDonald can have his spot back. Play another... Well, where's the trading? Oh, trading deadline isn't until March 10th. Board confidence should be nice and happy. Yeah, great success. And they're satisfied with our work. So we're not going to get fired anytime soon, at least. 39, 5, and 8 through 52 games. See if I can get the injured guys back before we finish this.
You're going to get us fired.
And then take a quick look around the league after that. Would be nice not to have any more injuries. No, Crowder's still hurt, and naturally now it's Thomas Steen that's hurt. Minor facial cut. Just going to manually sim for a couple of games to get us through this. Another easy 5-1 win over Minnesota, so we're dominating some pretty good teams. I want to... Oh, I didn't even look at the goals for and against. I'll have to take a look at that in a sec. Okay, still a couple of lingering injuries, so I'll deal with that at the start of the next show. Yeah, wow, the Islanders. 327 goals for, 89 goals against. That's crazy. So, yeah. I mean, they're dominant to begin with in real life, and then they've loaded up in the game. So they're nearly unbeatable. Somebody apparently has been able to beat them, but only twice this year. Wow, look at that. Look at the win streak there. Started the regular... Wait. From November 20th... They haven't lost since November 18th. Minnesota beat them, who was their finals opponent that year. And... No, that's a preseason where Montreal beat them. Who's the other L? Oh, we beat them 6-4. Okay, so we can beat them apparently. But that's got to be an all-time record for a winning streak. And look how they're winning them. 11-0 over Minnesota. Again, no. 13-0 over Pittsburgh. So the Islanders look nearly unstoppable here. Be a shame if we actually managed to rebuild the Leafs into a cup contender and just can't get back because there's one... Get all the way because there's one crazy team in front of us. Points, yeah, wow, look at that. Bossy is running away with the... Bossy has 71 goals in 58 games. That's Gretzky-type numbers. Wow. Well, Gretzky's actually not too far back, 96 points, but I mean, the Islanders are insane in this game. I don't so know. Orr is still up there in the scoring leaders, so he's stayed healthy, even if he's dropped back a bit. Pierre LaRouche, wow, 50 goals. That's kind of surprising. From Montreal, he had a major injury last year. Joe Mullen in the top 10 for us, along with Goulet in goals. Anything else interesting? Oh, that's a weird one to see. Yari Curry is leading the league in shots blocked. You almost never see a forward doing that. And the other 9 guys in the top, well, the other 8 guys in the top 9 are all defensemen. Goalie leaders, I'm guessing the Islanders goalie, it's either Lindbergh or Augusta. Yeah, Augusta has 46 wins already. 1.39 goals against average. 904 save percentage, which doesn't seem that impressive now, but would lead the league back then. Billy Smith, see, I mean, if they hadn't traded him away, I wonder what he'd be doing. They might be even worse or even better than they are right now. Where's our goalies in all of this? Trying to see Palmateer. Palmateer's up there in wins. Dion is top 6 for goals, or top 7 for goals against average. Save percentage, neither of them's there. Augusta has 16 shutouts. See, that's insane. I've never seen a team do this well in one historical game. I just want to look at the whole Islanders lineup. Doesn't look like they've had injuries at all. Bossy's getting 2 points a game. Trotier's getting 2 points a game. Cicerelli, the guy that they got in return for Smith, looks like that's a big part of the reason he's scoring a ton. There's just no weaknesses there until you get to, deep on the fourth line. Oh well, they picked up Mike Bullard in the draft, apparently, not the mediocre Canadian talk show host, the hockey player. Two different guys. And
man, that was a random reference you got there, Jeff.
Well, I guess he never did anything in the States, did he? I guess the Americans wouldn't know Mike Bullard.
He hasn't been on TV in 20 years here.
There's a fairly just for the explanation of the non-Canadians, there's a pretty good hockey player named Mike Bullard in the 80s, but there was also a TV, like a talk show host in, what was he, the 90s mostly?
Early 2000s.
90s, early 2000s in Canada, also named Mike Bullard. So I thought they were the same guy for a while before I finally realized that, no, this guy looks nothing like a hockey player. Wonder where he is now. You never hear about him anymore.
Last I heard, he was doing something on, like, Sirius. I don't know.
Everybody's got a show on Sirius.
That was a while ago now.
Well,
I'm
except
not
us.
sure.
Okay, but I think we can leave off here. And I mean, look at the, everybody. We've got a couple of 1.5 star guys, but we're mostly 3 stars up front. Oh, I wanted to look at our scoring and just see where the defense is standing. Salming doing great. Lowe coming along nicely, and even Turnbull with his 1.5 stars is putting up 30+ points, so he's probably going to match his production from the last couple of years, but still wouldn't mind maybe package him with one of our extra right wings and try to get, there's got to be a 3.5 star defenseman out there somewhere. I'll just leave it off with that.
You say that, but I know you're going to go get Bobby Orr eventually here.
Thinking about it. I'm just going to do a quick search and see who the 3.5 plus defend. Whoops, I select goalies. Oh, I left goalies in, that's why. 31 possible. Oh no, some of those are retired. Don't want them. Gonna keep it to guys under 35. 15 possible candidates. Future Jet, Randy Carlyle, one of them. Oh, Kazatonov's in Russia. He's not coming over. Same with Fetisov. Oh, down to 13 candidates.
Randy Carlyle's Norris year.
Was it? I didn't think he was.
So.
Oh, yeah, it might have been. Yeah. Or no, wasn't. I think that was the season after this. I think it was 81-82. Or yeah, because I don't think Langway started to win them until the 82, 83. And then he had a few. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to be looking at next time. Trying to find, honestly, Orr is looking like the best option there. How the Hawks doing? Hawks kind of struggling, a little below 500, so maybe we can talk something into him. But we will find that out next time, I guess. We're running a little over here, and do you want to wind it up, Adam?
Sure. Thank you very much for tuning in to another Franchise Hockey Manager. We typically stream every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/OTP Developments. All of our streams are archived on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/OTP Developments. And I try and get them up on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sometime in there. If you want to talk to us about Franchise Hockey Manager, you can reach out to us on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Franchise Hockey Manager. On Twitter, we're at Franchise Hockey. You can also find a link to our official Discord in our profile, which is a little bit quiet right now, but I'm expecting to pick up as we near, the hockey season.
Yep.
And
FHM 5 season.
Yeah, come talk about different sort of things. Come on down to our official website, which is otpdevelopments.com. Click on the community button in the top right-hand corner, which will bring you to our official forums. And you can talk about Franchise Hockey Manager, Out of the Park Baseball, MLB Manager, or whatever else you want to talk about. Jeff, did I miss anything?
No, I think it covers pretty much everything. Everything kind of quiet right now because we're so busy with all the development on FHM 5 and other things, but hopefully we'll have some news for you soon. But we'll be back next week with the Panthers game where, so do we want to cup in this one first or in that one? We'll find out. So thanks for coming out, and we will see you guys next week.